Hi everyone, my name is Ilse Huerta. I am an instructor at the University of Guanajuato in Mexico, and Melanie asked me to give you a short lecture about food security in Mexico, which I'm very happy to do. And hopefully you'll learn some aspects of the Mexican situation in regards to food access and to food production. Um, so let me start by saying what we are going to be talking about today. Um, I hope that this will be a short lecture, probably 10 minutes or so. But I will talk first about the Mexican agriculture so that you have a little bit of an idea of what we grow and where we grow it, and then we'll move on to the food security aspects. And for that, I will discuss aspects about our diet, um, aspects about food security. There's It's not only not having access to food or being having malnutrition problems. We'll discuss what are the issues related to food in Mexico, and then we will discuss about the poverty index, just to give you an idea of what's considered to be poor in Mexico, and what does that mean in regards to food access as well. And at the end, I'll talk about some about the basic basket or food basket, also it's called, which is like a measurement tool to discuss food security. And finally, I will talk about a program that Mexico uses to fight food security, or to promote food security, right? Fight food insecurity. So I'll just take my camera out. I just wanted to say hi, so you have my face, but I'll take that out so it's not a distraction. Okay, okay, sorry. So Mexican agriculture. I don't know how much or how little do you know about Mexico and agriculture, but Mexico is it's situated in North America. So it's Mexico, it's the United States and Canada that form North America. Then we have Central America, just a few countries here, and then we have South America, which is the other large space of the continent. So we are in a very unique situation in Mexico because we kind of have a little bit of everything, like tropical areas down here. Let me put my the marker, the pointer. Oops, I wanted to put a pointer. Okay, laser pointer. So yeah, in this area, in the south, we have like more tropical agriculture, and then in the north, which is just very close to Texas, we have Texas and California here. There's more cattle, another type of products as well, but it's more dry, right? Like in Texas, it's more dry, it's more hot, it's hot. We are situated, or right now I'm here around here in Guanajuato, which is in the center of Mexico, and here we grow a lot of vegetables, but also we grow a lot of grains all over Mexico. So if we are going to be, if I want to give you an idea, um, in Mexico, we grow a little bit of everything. We have grains, we have vegetables, we have cattle. We also have a lot of fishing activities because, as you can see, there's a very large part of the country which has access to the sea. So there's also a lot of fishing in our country. So, but you can see, sorghum, corn, of course, agave, for tequila. Then we have fruits as well in different regions. A lot of it in the south, we have papaya, we grow pineapples, we grow sugar cane, we grow, of course, a lot of tomato, we grow coconut also, like in more coastal areas. So just wanted to give you an idea. I mean, you can stop the video and just take a look. But avocado, which is the avocados from Mexico, we grow them around here in the center of Mexico. So just to give you an idea, but we have a very large amount of products that we grow in Mexico, and in different regions, it also depends on what we are growing. But overall, um, we produce fruits, vegetables, cereals, and also, dry like nuts as well, and and cattle, meat of different kinds, beef, pork, a lot, uh, or swine, and chicken and all that. So very, very diverse. And we have different regions as well. So let me see. Okay. So we have different regions or food regions in Mexico, depending on, the weather and the location and all that. Basically, there are one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, five regions. And as you can see, well, in the next slide, I'll tell you their names and everything. But right now, just to make more clear, I am here in the state of Guanajuato, in the very center. So there are different regions, like I said, the northeast, and you can just relate it with the colors here and in the other slide. With the northwest region, um, the main product is corn. Then with the main meat product is beef. Then also shrimp. We have and there's a lot of shrimp there because it's a coastal area. In the northeast area, there's a lot, again, corn. There's again beef and again shrimp. In the center west area, which is where we are located, kind of in the center, the main agricultural product is avocado. So it's here, like I said, it's avocado here. And then we have, all the bird meat, or chicken, and especially chicken we have in this area. And then it's another type of fish that we call mojarra, and I don't remember its name in English, but that's another fishing, the main fishing product. And then in the center, which is down here, a little bit down here, but it's considered the center, again, corn, again, chicken, and another type of fish. And more in the south, then we have sugarcane, beef, and octopus. So just, as you can see, there's like the main agricultural product, the main like protein product, and the main fishing product in each of these regions. Uh, just like something to highlight in here is that the main product, or agricultural product, as you can see almost everywhere, was corn. 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5 regions have corn as their main product. Okay, and now I am just going to show you a list of the ranking of agricultural products and of livestock products. Um, so what's our ranking in the world? In relation to the whole world, how are we located? And avocado, we are the #1 producers in the world. Peppers, the second producers. Sorghum, second producers. Alfalfa, the third. Sugarcane, #6. Corn, #7, even though we produce it everywhere, but we also eat a lot of it. And then tomato, we're the 10th. Wheat, 31. And potato, 37. And well, we grow a lot of forages as well, but I don't think there's a number for that. And then with the livestock, we have like the chicken meat. We are the #5 producers in the world. Eggs, #5. Beef, #6. Honey, 8. Swine meat is 15. Milk, 16. And beef, 31st. Just to show you, we have a very privilege, or a very important position in a lot of main products in the world. So just to give you an idea. And now moving on to food security. And like I said, we are going to talk about diet, about food issues, about poverty, about the baskets that we called, and about programs. So the Mexican diet, probably Mexican food, you've tried Mexican food, and if you can, think about what you have eaten, tacos, I don't know, enchiladas. What else have you eaten? Tamales. Uh, but everything, almost everything that we eat is made out of corn. And so I just wanted to give you an idea, showing you, and I don't want to open your appetite, but it's pretty good stuff anyway. We have the tortillas, the corn tortillas, our main dish. Like every day in every house in Mexico, we go to the tortilleria, we buy, 1 kilogram, which is like 2 pounds, or so about of tortillas, depending on the size of your family and of how much they eat. But almost every day, go to the tortillerias and buy tortillas, because we eat them, with whatever we are eating with the dish. You just use it to go with it. But also a lot of food, it's made out of corn, like chilaquiles. This is, like basically fried tortilla with salsa. The tacos, well, the tortilla with meat. Quesadillas, which is again tortillas but made a little bit differently, like by hand, and with cheese and something in it. Tamales, they're made with corn flour. Tostadas, they are like dried tortillas. Gorditas, they are like corn dough. And then like everything, it's amazing, but our cuisine is just based on corn. And then finally, for example, there's another dish that is called pozole. I don't know if you have heard about it. Um, but it's another type of corn which has like larger grains, and we eat it like a soup. So just like, yeah, you can see in there 90 kilograms of tortilla per year per person. That means about 180 pounds of tortillas that we as Mexicans eat on average every year. So just to give you an idea of the importance of corn in Mexico. Now, moving on to the issues related to food, there's like very two large or important things that we are fighting in Mexico. One of them is malnutrition, which is what we usually relate to food security problems, right? We usually think that we are um, under secured, or we just don't have access to food and we are not eating, enough. So malnutrition, that's what it means, right? You're just not eating enough. And 12.3% of the population in Mexico has malnutrition problems. And that has been increasing. I just put like 7.1% increase from 2017 to 2019. So, just in two years, there was an almost 10% increase in malnutrition. Just to give you, just to start giving you some numbers that for you to imagine or to write down. But then we have obesity as also, and that's even a larger problem. 75% of the population is overweight or obese. That is 2/3 of the men and 3/4 of women. So Mexico is actually one of the main uh, countries that has overweight issues, especially in children. So there has a lot of measurements that have been, taking place to avoid like bad habits in your diet. But that's also a sign of poor nutrition, which because people is just not eating right, because sometimes and that relates to income, that relates to access, that relates to many things. And some measurements that, well, we can talk about them later, but I'll just mention them right now. For example, in Mexico, in a lot of the schools, like the cafeterias and all that, they are not allowed to sell like chips anymore, sodas, or anything like that, because just children were making poor decisions in their food. And because of even time that we as parents cannot send them or pack them a good lunch, they were just eating whatever at schools, and that transferred into an overweight issue in our country. Another thing is that there's a lot of taxes in junk food. So sodas have a larger tax. Chips are very expensive now because they have a tax issue, a taxation. I mean, there not an issue, but a tax added in there, so that they become more expensive. And people say, you know what? Instead of buying a bag of chips, I'm going to buy an apple. I'm going to buy an apple. Um, but it's still, it's still some habits that we have, and still people want to eat with their Coke in their table, and that means that they're just paying more for it, and that means that they are just having less money to buy other stuff. So it's all like a, you know, social social issues as well. Another thing that was another measurement to fight obesity in Mexico, for example, was that um, we have what we call seals, but that means there's a sign, and I wish I had put a picture in here, but if not, I'll send it later. There's like a sign in foods that have like more sugar than they should, more fat than they should, more salt or sodium than they should. So there's just like a black label, a black label that is stamped in every, in chips, in juices, in cookies, in everything. I when I go to grocery shopping, I even feel bad because everything basically has the labels, the black labels that indicates that food has more sugar than it should, more fat than it should, more sodium than it should. So we just have to be so that people, we as consumers, be more conscious about where we're eating. And even another thing was that in all these like Twinkies and all these, food as like little breads with sugar and all that, there used to be like cartoons related to that. And they just said, we're going to remove all the cartoons or pictures, nice pictures from cereal boxes, from Twinkies, from everything, so that kids do not feel like they are, attached, like, oh, that's cute. Where I'm going to eat it because that's cute. So those are, just measurements that they're taking to fight obesity, because 75% of the population, you know, that's a lot. We're almost all in there. So it's a sign of poor nutrition because we are eating a lot of sugars, a lot of flours, a lot of fat. That's what I miss, consumption levels of fat. So then moving on to poverty. Um, as you can probably already saw in your class, poverty is only partially correlated with hunger. Um, Being poor doesn't mean that you are food insecure. It usually means that, but it doesn't really mean necessarily that. But also, not being poor doesn't mean that you are not going to be food insecure. I hope that I'm being clear. But even if I have enough, you know, enough income to buy nutritious food, probably have a chronic malnutrition because of other aspects, access, time, whatever. So that's uh, just to understand again, which probably you already know, that poverty, it doesn't necessarily equals uh, to food insecurity. And in Mexico, we have what we call 4 lines of poverty, depending on income and depending on where you're located. So if you live in a rural area or an urban area, uh, the income will vary to determine if you are food insecure, I mean, if you are poor or not. There is an extreme poverty and there is just poverty. And what's the difference with extreme poverty and poverty? It's that extreme poverty is that, you can only buy food. That's all you can eat. That's just all you can buy, food. And the poverty also includes other um, access to other services like transportation, like just clothes, and what else? Probably water, electricity. Things that at least you can have that. Where to live or something. So that gives us 4 lines, because there's a rural extreme poverty and there's a rural poverty line. There's an urban extreme poverty and there's an urban line of poverty. And this amount, which I try to give you like the estimates in dollars, that will be per person. So for example, if I earn $70 per month, and per month, of course, if I earn $70 per month and I live in a rural extreme poor in a rural area, then I'm considered to be rural extreme poor. And then if I live um, if I live in an urban area, I would have to earn $91 per month to access at least food. If I live in a rural area and I make $133, that means that I can buy food and that I can buy basic services, transportation, water, something. And if I live in an urban area and I earn $189 per month, that means that I can buy food and that I can buy basic services for myself. So just remember, this is all for myself. If I have a kid, I should be making, you know, about double. Kids are not considered like a full person in terms of their needs, but about double this, right? Like I should be making at least almost $400 per month so that we are just poor and we can access, basic stuff. If I have two kids, if I have, if we are a family of four, then we need about 3 to 4 times this amount living in an urban area. I hope that this is clear. This is just per person and this is per month. But we have to remember that usually we live in families, right? So we should put these times basically the number of members that we have in our family. It's not as simple as that because it depends on the age of the person, like the amount. This is for an adult, so kids will be a little less, but still, it's an estimate. So what are the canastas or baskets? Canastas or baskets, there are thresholds. Basically, there are thresholds, estimates that they say, okay, how can we measure, um, you know, where did this amount came from? Probably you are going to ask, like, like, how do you determine that amount? Well, that's determined with this measurement of the canastas or baskets. Um, there are two types of baskets, and again, well, there are basically four. But depending on where you live, there's a basket for an urban area, which costs usually a little bit more. And there's a basket for a rural area, which usually costs a little less. But there's also a basket for just food and a basket for food and basic services, which, basically is this: food or food and services. Of course, food and services, it's more, right? But that's how did they determine this? Well, that's depending on the cost of the products that are in there. And what products are in the basket? Well, that depends on the traditions, the diet behavior that we have in our country, in our region. For example, in Mexico, our basket must have corn, must have tortillas. We are not going to have probably foods that are staple foods in Africa, like I don't remember what, but like there are type of potatoes that they also eat in there that they're part of their staple food. We don't have that. We have to have corn. There are certain vegetables. There are certain fruits. There's dairy. There is protein like meat or some type of meat. So, but that also, we are not going to just put like no, like soy, or tofu or something like that because people don't eat that. People is used to eat, I don't know, cheese, milk, corn, tomato, onions. So those things are going to be in their baskets because that is what they are going to buy. So now, how are we going to determine, And the cost of the basket is determined by the cost of that product. If tomato goes up, the price of the basket will go up. If the cost of tortillas goes up, the price of the basket goes up. And basically, what that means is that um, people will be will have to have a larger income in order to be able to buy these goods, right? So if we want to buy whatever is in here, which we need to buy it in order to be food secured in our country, we have to make at least, you know, 2011 pesos per month per person. And even in rural area, we have to have we have to make at least 15 um, yeah well, 44 pesos, about $70 relates to here, right? In order to be able to buy those basic goods, which is what we eat. Of course, the cost of a basic basket or a food basket, it's on the rise. This is 2015, and I think we are here in 2022. And as you can see, the price is going up, 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 up. Every time goes up. The problem is that incomes are not increasing at the same pace, right? At the same level. Which means that if I was able to buy here with my income, but my income is just growing, a little bit like this, then I'm not able to buy even the basics with my income. I hope that this is getting clear. I'm trying to be as clear as I can, but this is, also economics, which I'm not an expert in. But also just to understand, according to FAO, a nutritious diet must include fruit, vegetables, dairy, and protein. And according to them, it will cost about $4 per person per day. The minimum wage in Mexico is 172 pesos per person per day. So let's see, $4, that is about 80 pesos, okay? So which means that with this amount of the minimum wage, we are able to buy a nutritious diet for two people, right? So if I have a kid and I make this, well, I can buy the basics. If I am a single mom of two, then I'm not making enough. So, we must be like we must be a family of four where both parents are working in order the minimum wage in order to have like at least access to the minimum, to the very basic um, items to be food secure. So just these are probably just numbers. I hope that I'm making clear. I hope that you're taking your your notes and understand it in your own way. But just to give you an idea of what's going on. Now, actions and programs. Okay, it's a program that I think it started in the early 2000s, which is called PESA, a strategic project for food security. And basically, I make a lot of typos, I'm sorry. But basically, well, this is a program that exists everywhere in Mexico, in our 32 states, it's everywhere. It is like run by the Department of Agriculture, which its name in Spanish or its abbreviation is SAGARPA. But it has like it follows FAO's methodology, and it gets like technical support from FAO in order to have it in order to make it like a meaningful or good program that it's following international standards and that we are acting as good as we can, right? So basically this project, I guess it has like a budget, and then depending on the region, it has a regional vision. So depending on the region, Sagarpa or the Department of Agriculture would partner with different institutions or organizations in order to achieve the goal of working in two areas mainly. And I'm sorry for the accents, but it's between Spanish and English, I made some typos. But working in two areas. One of them is ensuring that there's enough food production in that region, and the other one is ensuring that people are having enough income to buy those food products, right? Because as you can see, as you can learn in food security, it's not only about having or producing the food, it's about having access to it. It's about being able to buy it. It's about the food being nutritious, right? So basically, this project works with FAO, works with the Department of Agriculture, works with depending on the different regions, partners with different organizations, and what they promote is that there's enough food production and that there's enough income for the people to buy those food goods. Okay. And just to end, let me take this out, laser point, and just put my camera again and just give you some take-home messages, because I don't know if this was enough, if it was confusing, if it was whatever. So just some points that you can remember from this presentation. One of them is that, well, Mexico is a large agricultural producer, right? So we shouldn't have issues about food production or food security, because we are able to produce a lot of different food items. Then is that white corn is our main food product. We should ensure that at least people has at least access to corn, but that doesn't mean that it's nutritious. It's just that it's part of our diet. It's what we traditions, what we like, whatever. So, but white corn is our main food product. The third one is that we have two food issues in Mexico. One of them is malnutrition, 12.3% of the population, and the other one is obesity or overweight, which is 75% of the population that is affected by this problem. Then remember that a nutritious diet costs about 90 pesos in Mexico, $4 per day per person. And the minimum wage per day per person is 172 pesos. So it's probably not even enough for two people. Just to start making your calculations on who has to work, how much has to work, or earn more than the minimum wage, which is also common, but at least they have to earn the minimum wage. And finally is that the food basket and the basic baskets are like two thresholds to measure poverty through food security and basic needs. So we use the baskets to indicate if you are poor or if you are not poor, and that is basically determined by food security and that because you are covering your food and your basic needs. So I think that's all that I had for you. I hope that this was interesting, that this was something that will help you in your understanding of food security, and that gives you a little bit of panorama of what's happening in Mexico. Good luck with your class, with your course, and nice to meet you. Take care. Bye. By the way, well, I'll tell Melanie, but if you ever want to contact me, I forgot to put my email in there, but I'll let you can ask Dr. Miller Foster, and she has my email. Um, Thank you. Bye.